guests, colleagues, development practitioners, partners, friends. It's an honor to welcome you to another edition of Faces of Project, a platform that is dedicated to documenting, sharing stories, lessons, decision, and leadership journey, and also our journey behind the impactful project. My name is Hawa Bukar Komshi, just as IB has rightly highlighted. And today, I believe it's a beautiful day for all of us. Also, today we have the privilege of hosting a respected humanitarian developmental professional whose work has influenced programming, coordination, humanitarian response across multiple sectors. And our discussion would be around leading for impact, which the decisions, the trade-offs, and reality behind successful NGO programming. Often people see successful projects and programs through reports, indicators, and achievements. What they really see are the decision, competition, also competing priorities, resource limitation, stakeholder dynamics, and the leadership choice that shape the outcome. Today, we will hope to uncover some of those realities. It is my honor to have Mr. Samuel Seth Manu with me. Thank you so much, Seth, for joining. But before we proceed, some housekeeping rules. Please let's ensure that we have our mic off so that we'll have the silence required to listen to Mr. Manu, and also for our concentration to be in one place. And I would also advise, please, if possible, let's have our videos on so that the IT team can be able to capture, have our pictures during the session. Also, I encourage that we all stay focused and participate fully during the session. And if we have any question, we can drop that in the chat box and that will be addressed. This is to also let you know that this session is being recorded. Thank you so much all for joining. Before we proceed for today's conversation, I would like to take a moment to extend a very warmly welcome to two institutions that have recently joined the Faces of Project community through the participation of their students and also faculty members. First, we would warmly welcome the student of Federal University Technology Akure under the guidance and support of their student advisor, Dr. Kenny Alade. Please, can we give a big round of applause to them? I'm not seeing the claps here. Thank you. I would also like to warmly welcome the students of Olusegun Agagu University of Science and Technology, Okiti Pupa. I'm very sorry if I didn't pronounce that right. Ondo State, particularly from the Department of Project Management, under the leadership of the head of department, Engineer Dr. Israel Olabode Arogi. Thank you so much, sir. On behalf of Faces of Project team, we sincerely appreciate the confidence this institution have shown to this initiative, because we've seen how you guys have welcomed the idea behind Faces of Project. Just roughly, Faces of Project was created not only to document leadership stories, but also to inspire and mentor, connect with emerging professionals, and with real world from those shaping impactful projects across sectors. We encourage you to actively engage with the platform. Please ask questions, share your perspective, and make the most out of the learning opportunity available. Please feel free to ask a related question to the project managers we have on board, leaders, project implementers, and also professional development during the session and through our community platform, which our IT would have that link dropped in the chat box. You can join and also ensure that we highly encourage that you join and also subscribe to our social media handles. Thank you so much. We are delighted to have you join us. So before we proceed, I would like to call on a visionary founder of the Faces of Projects to deliver an opening remark in person of Dr. Blessing. Please, am I audible? I hope I'm not alone.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yes,
please.
we can
Thank
hear
you.
you.
Okay.
Yes.
So Dr. Blessing has been an instrumental part in shaping the vision of this platform and its also commitment to ensuring that stories has been documented. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Blessing Oshoki for the opening remark. Let's see your claps. Let's see your claps. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Blessing.
Thank you very much, Hawa. Thank you so much. Thank you. And good morning, everyone. Like she rightly introduced, my name is Inenemo Blessing Oshoke. I am a co-founder of Faces of Projects, and I am so delighted to welcome you to today's webinar. Like we all know, Faces of Project was created to spotlight the stories, leadership, decisions, and executive realities behind impactful works. We believe that beyond every successful project or program are valuable lessons that deserve to be shared and learned from. So today's conversation is another step towards building a platform of knowledge exchange, professional learning, and leadership recognition. Thank you so much for making our time today to join us, and we look forward to an insightful discussion. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Blessing. Thank you for ensuring that you're here to be with us and also give us an opening remark. Before I proceed to have Seth on board, I would like to read out his biography before he comes up to tell us more about himself and also for us to hear about him. Please pardon me. Usually my voice is not like this, but let's make use of this for today. And also, you might be seeing me off in my cameras and mic. I apologize for that before the occurrence. Thank you. So, Seth, our guest speaker, is a Nigerian national who brings with him extensive experience working with local and national non-governmental organizations, international NGOs, and with the humanitarian coordination system. He currently coordinates the Cash Working Group. Prior to joining the Cash Working Group, Seth also served as the chair of the Northeast Community Engagement, Accountability and Localization. That's the SEAL Working Group, where he played a key role in strengthening the capacity of many local, national, and international organizations on accountability to the affected population, persons, and community engagement. As technical lead of the Cash Working Group, Seth is responsible for strengthening the capacity of local and national partners in CVA, that's cash and voucher assistance, facilitating access to financial service providers, harmonizing and standardizing CVA tools, establishing linkage between CVA and social protection programs, and promoting peer learnings and information sharing across partners. He also works to raise the visibility of local partners across the West African region and support their access to training opportunities where available. Seth is also a member of the Global Cash Group, where he represents local and national organizations globally and advocates for the inclusion and amplification of local perspective in global CVA discourse. Beyond his professional accomplishment, Seth has strong personal interest in innovation, system design, literature, music, writing, traveling, and also poetry. Please, can we give a big round of applause to Seth for being with us today to share with us, his journey and also experience in the sector. Thank you so much, Seth, for being with us today. Hello, Seth. Are we
Thank you.
together?
Thank you very much,
Hello,
Hawa. I
sir.
am glad to
Okay,
be
where
here.
is
Good
it?
morning.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Seth. Before we discuss leadership and program management, could you briefly tell us about your professional journey and what you into the humanitarian and developmental sector?
Thank you very much, Hawa. And firstly, I want to say a big thank you to the Faces of Project for the opportunity to be here and share my little experience over the years with this diverse group. And I must say that the work you're doing is awesome. You did a great job, and impacting lives, sharing these stories is very, very key. And I really appreciate this platform. I will try and be brief about my journey into the humanitarian sector because in itself, I would say it's a whole discussion entirely. But prior to now, before joining the humanitarian sector, I was with the banking sector, and then I moved into the humanitarian sector. Uh, Before now, I had experience with humanitarian work. Back then, during my university years, we had some crisis around the area where my university was situated. And a lot of displacements happened, and we had a lot of children that were displaced from their host communities. And they were in internally displaced people's camps, and they were cut away from the formal education systems that they had existing.
Sorry.
And so they were just in
I know
there
they hear you. Come, talk, open your mouth,
without
talk
any
now.
kind of support.
There's plenty iron
And
in this
so
house.
Sorry about that.
sorry
It's
for the
already muted.
distraction. Okay,
Yes,
thank you very much.
go on, please.
All right, thank you. And so because of that, there was need to actually provide some kind of support. And I was one of the people that volunteered to provide some level of formal education to the students that were displaced, be able to help them so that at the end of the displacement period, when they go back to their communities, there won't be a huge gap between them and other people that were still in the system, continuing their education. And I would say that was the beginning of my journey with the humanitarian. And somehow I saw the impact that we're able to make in the lives of the people that were displaced. And it marked a turning point for me to say, hey, if I could make this much of an impact, then I think that I could actually do better. And so when the opportunity came for me to move into the Northeast, I actually embraced it and moved into the Northeast. I didn't come into the Northeast as a program manager or any of those. Actually, I started my journey as a volunteer, and it has been a great journey from there till now. And like I said, if we want to go into the details, how well, we're going to take a long time. So, but in summary, that is how it has been. And we are here right now. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us, from where you start from volunteer to where you are today. Many people see leadership as a position. What does leadership mean to you personally?
Okay. Leadership, it's not about the position. For me, when we talk about leadership, I see it more as a privilege to guide, a privilege to point people in the right direction that they should go. And so it's not about the authority or power that comes with it. Because if that is what you are looking at, then you are going to miss out of everything that leadership has to offer. So, but I see leadership as a privilege. It's a privilege to lead people. There are a lot of people that have the strength, they have the capacities and so on. Being a leader does not mean that you're the best of them all. It does not mean that without you, that thing is not going to work. It simply means that you have been given a position of trust, a privilege to actually shine light for people to pass through. And so as a leader, the key thing, what your priority should be, is how much you are able to point people in the right direction and how many people are able to move in that direction with you. It's not about your achievements as an individual, as a leader. When you're in a leadership role, your achievements is directly proportional to the achievement of the people you are leading. And so you cannot be said to have excelled as a leader if the people you are leading have not excelled. And so your success is dependent on the success of the people you are leading. So a true test of leadership for me is always about how well the people you are leading are doing. And so when you check the team you are leading and they are not doing well, then you cannot be said to have succeeded as a leader.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for that. The title for the beginning of the title for today's discussion is Leading for Impact. In your experience, what does impact really means in the governmental organization programming? Is it a number reached, a system, strengthened, lives transformed, or something else? We really want to understand what context, in this context, what does impact means?
In this context, I would say impact simply refers to the lives you are able to change positively. Now, impact could be negative, impact could be positive, right? You could have negative impact and positive impact. But then the influence you have on the lives of people is impact. And that's why in the humanitarian setting, basically, a lot of times you hear people say that you cannot measure impact immediately. Impact is usually measured after you have implemented projects and time has gone, because what you measure immediately are usually outputs and outcomes, right? That is what deals with the number of people, how much you were able to distribute to these people, how many people got food to eat, how many this, how many that. But when you talk about impact, it's about years after your project implementation. When you come back to the same place and you check, does it still feel like something happened?
Mm-hmm.
Or is the situation of the people worse than when you were there? Or has it returned back to status quo, right? And so impact is actually a measure after you have gone. It's basically a measure of sustainability. What has your activities done over the years that has remained with the people that you serve? And that is what impact is all about. And so when you go to communities and you see the way of life after years has changed, and you're able to look at it and say, oh, back then in that years ago, I remember this is not how this thing was done. And we started something. Oh, look what it has grown to be. And so it might not be in direct correlation with what you did, but somehow you see that what you did is part of the foundation blocks that has led the people to where they are today. That's what impact is.
Thank you so much for that, said. Before the emergence of the HDP Nexus, there are a lot of projects being implemented and then there is no sustainability. And then during the course of, you know, what you're saying is impact is a long-term achievement. So looking at your biography where you started from a local and a national organization and to seeing yourself where you are today, is there any project that you've implemented or you funded during that time and then now you couldn't see just, oh yes, you have achieved what you've hit your target on papers, but you cannot just define the impact? What does that teach you?
Thank you, Hawa. And the answer is a big yes. If I said no, I would be lying. There are quite a number of projects that we have implemented, and the impact is not there, right? And there's something about work also and life. It's that on a daily you grow, you learn, right? And that is very, very key part of life. You have to learn, you have to unlearn, you have to relearn. Now, there are quite a number of projects that we have done. And amongst those projects, there are ones that you go back to those locations and you see that what you did not change anything. And the people there do not even remember that once upon a time you were there. There are projects that you implemented and barely a year later, you go back there and the people are looking at you like, what is it? What have you done? right? In the course of my career, I've had the privilege of also monitoring projects that have been implemented by others, even by government, right? And I have had a situation where we went to monitor the impact of a particular project in certain location. And on reaching there, we're trying to identify the beneficiaries of that project to have discussions, say, hey, how did this project affect your life? And we encountered certain persons and they looked at us and they're like, which project in particular are you talking about? And we looked at it and we're like, this is a project, this happened. And they looked at us and they're like, is it because of that thing that you guys came and did here that you're coming to waste our time asking us these bulky questions? Now, from that response, you could see that they did not really feel the impact of that project, right? They felt that it was too trivial. It didn't make sense. It didn't add up. Now, I have had opportunities also to go to certain quarters, and then once you enter and you say, hey, we're taking this program, like, oh my God, you belong to these people. Come. This is what I was able to achieve. You did this for me, but this is how I have, how far I have come. You did this for me. This is what I've been able to bring out of it. Now you see that this impact is there. But truth be told, there are projects that have been implemented that the impact is not there. The key thing is when these things happen, you learn from it. And so when you go for the next project, you pull in the learnings from the previous project into this new phase so that there's a difference in what you're doing.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. In your course of experience, work, and field experience, and also I believe you were once a funder, right? Of a project. Am I right? Good. Would you can you identify one single project that it was difficult aligning it with your goals and objective, and also a donor's goals and objective, and how did you navigate that? And also,
Okay,
what made
yes.
you what made you took the money from the donor, and also what made you to subgrant, if you subgranted the project, what made you subgrant that project? I don't know if I'm clear.
Sorry, you broke off a little bit there. Just repeat the last part, yeah.
Okay, I said, if what made you took the money, if there is a conflict of goals and objective between you and the donor, what made you took the money, if you did, and also if you subgranted the funds to another organization, like a national organization, what made you do that?
Okay, thank you very much, Hawa. So firstly, let me say that when it comes to funding, especially donor money, one key thing about management is you need to be careful where your money comes from. Now, a lot of times when people look at successful projects, what they see is like the tip of the iceberg. It's like they see just the surface, and all the things that have happened beneath the surface of the waters, they don't see it. But believe you me, there are a lot of things that happen. Now, in order to implement successful programs, firstly, you need to be careful of the source of your funding. Now, for every organization, they have their mission, they have their vision, they have the objectives of the organization and everything. Now, you need to be careful that where you receive funding from is a source that aligns with your purpose, your mission, your goals as an organization. Because if it does not align, then you stand the risk of receiving money and then your projects do not align with what you stand for. And that is you setting yourself or the organization up for failure. Now, yes, we have over the years received funding across different organizations to implement different projects. In decision making, especially when it comes to management, there are trade-offs. trade-offs. There are times when you need to balance between the need of the people, right? And then what you stand for as an organization. Now, in doing that, in maintaining that balance, you are careful not to lose your perspective as an organization while trying to also maintain and keep the people that you are going to serve in the center of your decision making. Now, areas where you cannot compromise at all are areas where it's in the direct opposite direction of the goals and objectives of your organization. For example, we have organizations that are pro-life, right? And what they are interested in is life. They don't support abortions. They don't support the ideas, a lot of ideas around family planning and the likes. Now you have organizations like that. Now imagine you as an organization now taking funds from a donor to implement a project in family planning, right? And also in family planning that includes safe abortions and everything. Now, how do you reconcile that money you have collected with your goals and visions as an organization? Now you are going to have serious issues. So these are areas where you do not compromise, right? But there are areas where there are slight differences between the donor and you, but they are not differences that actually affect your core mandate as an organization. Now, in so doing, you are able to prioritize the people, the affected people, and then to say, okay, we are able to deliver this. This is how we intend to do it. This is how we intend to go about it. And then once you have the agreement, you proceed. Now, bringing you down to the example where we've had a donor and what the donor wants us to do is a bit different from what the community people desire. Now, these things happen a lot. Now, firstly, ideally, in every situation, before you implement a project, you need to conduct your needs assessment. And your needs assessment is not something that you jump into the field and go check some boxes and say, hey, I see you need food. I see you need water. I see you need this, and you come back to your office and you tell your donor, come up with a document and tell your donor, this is what we see the people need. They just give us money and we go ahead and do that. Now, that in itself has caused a lot of issues for a lot of organizations. But in carrying out needs assessment, you are not going there to just see what the people need. You are going there to engage with the people to understand what their needs are. So in essence, it's not about you deciding what the needs of the people is. It's about you going to listen to the people and understand what their needs are. So the people are telling you, this is what we need. This is what we need. You are not assuming. Now, when you do a proper needs assessment, you understand genuinely the needs of the people. Then you go back and then you draft your document and you give to the donor. Now, at the end of the donor, the day the donor decides whether to fund that or not. Now, there are situations also where you have received funding, right? You have done the needs assessment. Because needs are also dynamic, they change. You find yourself that you're in the middle of implementing a project and the needs of the people have changed. Now, what do you do? Now, we've had a situation like that where we are implementing a project from a donor. The donor has given you money and says, oh, based on your needs assessment, the needs of the people is nutrition. And so go in there and do a project on nutrition, deal with moderate and severe acute malnutrition, do best feeding practices and the rest for the people. And then you have that in mind, you have designed your project and you have started implementing. But midway in the course of the implementation, certain things happen, right? There are shocks that will change the need dynamics in that community. Now, when these things happen, suddenly you find out that the priority need of the people is no longer nutrition. And so the people are coming to tell you that, no, what we need right now is no more nutrition, right? This is what we need. And it's a life-saving need. Now, what you will do, what we did in that instance is to go back to the donor and say, hey, the needs of the people have changed. this is what has happened, and this is what has led to the change in this need. Can we do a modifier on this project to change this, right? Now, unfortunately for us, then the donor was not flexible. And the donor is like, no, I gave you money for nutrition. You have to do nutrition till the end of the project, right? Now, we are in a dilemma. You have what the people say they need. You have what the donor says, this is my money for you to do with. And believe you me, if you spend that money in any other way, then it becomes an ineligible cost and you will have to pay for it. And so then a critical thing happens, and which is very, very important in every project management, which is communication. Now, we have communicated with the donor, and the donor is saying, no, stick to the initial plan. But the people are saying, hey, this is it. Now, the key component of this is communication. We go back to the community and we sit down with them, call the community leaders, call the community people and say, hey, we have heard what you said. We understand the needs have changed. We have also taken this back to the donor who has given us the money to implement this project. Unfortunately, the donor says he's unable to fund this new need, and we can only continue with what we are doing. Now, in as much as we would love to do this, we are not saying this need is not critical, but we are unable to provide this support. But what we are able to do is, within our circle, within our network, we'll communicate with those that are there and see if we have partners that can step in to provide for these additional needs. And it's a matter of understanding. And the people listen and they say, oh, we understand this, right? And then it's okay. Thank you for taking our case forward. Now, that marked a major difference in the project implementation. Now, a lot of organizations will not just go back to the people. They say, we cannot do anything, and just continue. And so the people feel aggrieved. They feel they brought a complaint, we have a need, and you didn't listen. And so communication is an integral part of every project implementation, not just at the donor level, at the community level. Because we need to understand that the people we serve also, they are humans just like you and me. It's just that situations have happened, right, that has placed them in a particular condition and has placed you in a particular condition of power where you are able to also provide support. And so we should ensure that we have adequate communication. So in that case, communication was what helped us. And the people were able to understand that, oh, this is it, this is it. They understood the constraints. We're able to explain to them, look, this is how donor funding works. And this is what we're able to do, and this is what we're unable to do. And that helped us to finalize the project.
Thank you so much. That was really explicit. Thank you for sharing how you ensure you balance donor expectation, community needs, and also organizational priorities. I hope all of us are keenly listening to Mr. Said, listening the trade-offs and also the realities behind, excuse me, project implementation. Thank you for that. Moving on, please. I could see that we are already 44 minutes into the webinar. So if you could quickly tell us on have you ever had an like unpopular decision for the sake of a program to have a long-term success? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the answer is a yes. We have had an unpopular decision in order
Like
to
what
achieve
happened?
long-term success. Yes. And so let me explain to you what happened. We had a project that we needed to implement, and we were working closely with the government. And so the way the government operates is quite different from how development and humanitarian actors work, right? And this project was supposed to actually provide support in cash to a certain targeted people. There was a crisis and wanted to provide support in cash. Now, the government was part of the conversation to say, okay, how do we go about it? How do we provide this support? And how much should we give the people? Now, the government did its calculations and came up and say, okay, give the people this amount. For the sake of this event, I will say, for example, they say give the people 10,000 naira each. That is not the amount. I'm just saying that because I would not want to bring a lot of points in this conversation, and then before Hawa will now pinpoint and say, oh, I remember that project somewhere. So now we had that situation, and the government is saying, hey, give the people 10,000 naira. And if we are going to give 10,000 naira, we would be reaching about 100,000 people with that amount, estimatedly. And for the government, it was a good deal. Go ahead, reach 100,000 people, give them 10,000 naira, and we are good. But then the question was, for the sake of sustainability and impact, what would 10,000 naira do for you? Right? And so the argument we had was no, 10,000 naira would not do anything for the people that have been affected. For impact and long-term sustainability, this money needs to be at least 100,000 naira. You understand? Now, if we are doing 100,000 naira, that means that we will not be able to reach 100,000 people anymore, right? We'll just be able to reach about 100 people or 10,000 people. You understand? Now, that was a very, very major decision to me. It means dropping down the reach. It means that we are dropping down all thousands of people out of the response. But it also means that the people that will get the response will actually know they have received support, and in the long run, it will help them better. Now, our argument is the fact that if you give 10,000 naira to 100,000 people, they will receive that money, and the next day that money is gone, they will forget all about it. But if you give 100,000 naira to 10,000 people, then you'll find out that these people would be able to maximize that money. They might be able to invest it positively, and the impact in the long run will be greater. And so it was an unpopular decision because it's about reach versus quality, quantity versus quality. And in as much as if you want to take popular opinion on the streets, everybody will say, hey, share the cake. Let us have a little bit of each, right? But for us, we felt, no, it wasn't the best programming decision. And so we opted to go to drop down the target and increase the transfer amount. And in doing that, it wasn't the popular decision. But when we did that, the impact was awesome. The impact was great, right? And in so doing, subsequently, when you have another intervention, you are able to phase these people out of it and bring in a new set of people. It will take us time, but with time we will get there, rather than keep throwing 10,000 across board and it just vanishes without any kind of impact. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Seth, for taking us through how, you need more resources, and you are able to navigate and reach, fewer people but more impact. I want that was actually the question I wanted to ask you next, but thank you for finding a way to respond to my question. And throughout our conversation, there are a lot of tough decisions that keep coming out. During the conversation, tough decision you took, or you and your team, and how you navigate around that. I would really want you to talk, around, the toughest trade-offs, NGO leaders face that most people never see, because, some of the conversation we're having here are things that, we might not likely hear it from, from the lower officers and all, rather just with the management team. And here we have upcoming professionals in the management sector, management level. also sorry, project management level. So we would like them to also have an idea on how to what are those things they should expect, and also how they should be able to navigate around. So please, if you could share how what are those trade-offs, and also how what are those trade-offs you face, and most people are not even aware of. Thank you.
Thank you, Hawa. There are lots of trade-offs, very, very many. I would just pick a few and speak on them. Firstly, let me talk about speed versus quality. That is one trade-off that always comes into play, especially in the humanitarian sector. Now, you have a lot of projects that you have to decide around speed and quality. When you need to go in with speed, quality tends to drop. When you want to do high quality programs, you need more time. Now, a lot of time that is a decision to make. But in rapid onset crisis, you don't have the luxury of time, right? For example, they say, hey, this community was flooded, or there's a fire outbreak and 100 houses were burnt down, and people are in dire need. You don't have the time to say, hey, okay, I need to go and do an assessment, a proper assessment. I need to understand where the people are coming from, what happened to them, how we are going to go about it, what is the security situation. Now, these are things that ideally should happen, right? But while you are busy doing that, lives might be lost, because it's very, very important that that support goes in quickly. And so that is a trade-off that happens a lot of times. So you need to look at it and say, hey, what is much more important right now? Is it to go in quickly, or is it to have more quality? There are times where you would go for quality, and there are times where you definitely need to opt for the speed because of the nature of the crisis. Another thing is innovation and risk. Sometimes you look at it and you're like, oh, we can solve this in this innovative way, right? But with new innovations comes increased risk, because innovations have not really been tested. And so when we look at it, this is another trade-off that you need to look at. What level of risk can I take? What is my risk appetite? And so you weigh it. This innovation, what are the possibilities of success? And so you check, and then you decide to either go with the new innovations, or to drop down on the innovation and then to have better stability, or to have higher innovation and more risk. Another thing is in terms of staff turnover. Now, these are conversations that you will not get on a daily. Now, you have a lot of organizations that there are funding issues, right? And a lot of organizations run on project funds. So that means that if they don't have a project ongoing, the organization in itself might not have the resources to keep her staff. And so you have a decision to make. The project has ended, right? You have staff. Do you release all your staff and everybody goes home and you wait for the next project? Or do you keep your staff? Now, that is another major decision to make. Now, at the management level, the management is looking, what can we do? How do we go about it, right? We don't want to lose this staff, because we have worked with these people, we have trained them, they have certain capacity that we need, but then we don't have the resources to pay these people. Now, the common mistake that usually happens is that you find management will just say, okay, since we don't want to lose the staff, we'll just slash down their salaries and give them new contracts. And so you find out probably you have a contract to receive 100,000 every month. And because the project is not there, they just say, please, project has ended, cut it down. And so the next month, you receive a pay of 50,000 naira. And they say, that's your salary, right? And that is a management decision that has happened. And then a lot of time you find out that staff at the lower cadre they are not happy about it. Hey guys, you're supposed to give me 50,000. You're giving me 100. You're supposed to give me 100,000. Sorry, you're giving me 50,000. Why? And then the management feels offended. You know why? Because it felt there's no money. We ideally are supposed to give you an end of contract letter. We chose to keep you and give you 50,000. And instead of you to be grateful and say, hey, thank you, God bless you, you're awesome, you are here complaining that we gave you 50,000 that we went out of our way to provide, right? Now, then it brings about friction. Management feeling, hey, this is a bunch of ungrateful people. Start feeling, hey, this is a bunch of unfair people that are treating us the way they like. But then the question is, where is the challenge? It's just one thing, communication, right? It just has to do with communication.
Yeah.
For management to come down and say, hey guys, come, let's have a conversation. This project is over and we cannot keep all of you. Ideally, we should give you an end of project contract letter. But guys, we love the fact that you are here and working with you has been awesome. We are looking for other projects that might come in, but right now we don't have the money. Because of that, we want to drop your pay to 30,000 a month until we are able to secure another project. Then we'll review the amount upwards again. Now that simple 30 minutes conversation will go a long way to change the outcome of the whole decision making. And so the staff also feel part of the system. They feel that, hey, I am part of this. That means I am valued, right? And then they have a decision to make also, either to say, hey, it's okay, pay me 30,000, I am with you, we'll work together and ensure the next grant. Or to say, oh, I am very, very sorry. Right now, I cannot take 30,000. I would have to leave now, right? But hopefully we'll work again next time. And everybody is happy, everybody is respected. And then you move. But when you take decisions without active participation of the people that you are leading, remember in the beginning of this conversation, I said, leadership is not all about authority and a show of power and force, right? It's about pointing people in the right direction and enabling them to take the proper or the right decisions that otherwise you would have asked them to take. And so it's very key when you have that conversation, the outcome is usually really, really awesome. So these are some of the trade-offs that happen. But then while you are doing this, it's very, very important that there's transparency and there's meaningful and engaging communication so that everybody's on the same page and they understand the reason behind prioritizing one for the other. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that with us. And I hope we all have our key takeaway from what you just said, that communication is key, and we shouldn't shy away from that. That brings us to to the next question I want to ask. Please excuse me. So regarding some of the realities of of NGO leadership, which you have highlighted, and there are a lot of people that just see the NGO sector from afar, and just think that this sector, everybody is just having their way, having cash here and there, because people have the assumption of, oh, NGO workers are highly paid, and a lot of people just want to work in the sector because of that take home. So I would like you to highlight what are those realities that young or a professional often underestimate, because they have not actually penetrated into that sector and have no experience have no experience.
Sorry, Howard.
Thank you so much, Sid. I'm so sorry for all the, distractions. So if you could highlight on that, please. I don't know if you got my question right.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And
Thank you.
it's a very, very common perspective. Let me tell you something that happened to me when I started working in the Northeast newly. I went to work this very good day and I was going back to work and I had to hop in a keke napep to get back to my home. And I had my backpack with my laptop in it. And when I entered the keke, we're moving. The people in the keke did not know I understood the native language, right? And so they were talking in their native tongue. And they were like, these are the NGO guys. You see that they are bad? Yeah, they always carry dollars. Each day they go to the office, they share a couple of dollars for them, and they just pour it into those backpacks and they go with it. And I was perplexed. I was like, guys, I am always going out to take dollars and come back. How easy is it to make money, right? Now, that has been the notion. Everyone looks at the NGO space and thinks, hey, these guys are making a lot of money. These guys are cashing out, and it's about the money. Firstly, for younger people coming into the sector, I want to tell you something. If you go into the humanitarian or development field, the idea that you're there to cash out, you would have a lot of issues. You have a lot of issues. Now, in the humanitarian sector, the key thing there is humanity. If you do not have a passion and a heart for humanity, you cannot do it. Now, I have worked in different organizations. I have been in organizations where I have heard people say that, oh, well, you see him, Seth basically sits in the office and he's just cool. He earns a good salary at the end of the day, and he doesn't go to the field and they pay him well. We are at the field and we're suffering, right? And they do not understand that I have traveled the craziest locations in this country. Once upon a time, around 1 a.m. in the middle of the night, I have been on a route that is notoriously known for attacks, driving on road by 1 a.m. I have been in a location where it's known as a hold for insurgents, and our vehicle broke down and we're in the middle of nowhere. I have been on the field location where I have slept in a house that insurgencies used as a hideout. Yeah, I have been in locations whereby the only water I had available to drink, I would not use it to take my bath.
Wow.
Now, these things happen, but you don't see it, right? You only see the surface. And so you think it's about making money, it's about cashing out. No, it's not. To be honest with you, if I am going to look at the risk associated with the humanitarian work and put it on a scale with the payment, believe you me, humanitarian actors are not paid enough. That is the truth. Yeah. I have been in a situation where I have been on the field to work, and the very accommodation where I was staying right in there was an attack. And the goal of the people that day was to go into that place and carry us and go with us. That was their aim. And so we were inside and we're hearing the gunshots on the outside. The fighting was going on. And there were people that were coming to field for the first time, and some people were crying and they were like, no, 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 please, I am not going to die today. And this, that. Unfortunately, you can't even call your family to tell them, well, if you don't hear from me, I still love you, because you don't even have network coverage to do that, right? And so you are sitting down there and the only thing you can do is to pray and say, God, I am here. Help me to come out of this alive, right? And then the thing continues for hours, a heated battle between the military and the other side. And then at the end of the day, God helps you and reinforcement comes and they are repelled and they do not come in. You get. And that's not the funny part of it, Hawa. The funny part of it is that next week, after you go, you will come back to the same place. Now, that's the funny part of it. You're not coming back because it's safer. You're not coming back because you have two lives. But then in that same location, there's a woman that has 5 children. The husband is dead. 4 of those children are critically ill. If you don't go to that location, that woman will not eat. If you don't go to that location, that family will not have drugs to use. if you don't go to that location, the number of people that are at the brink of death goes high. And so it's not about the money, because how much can you be paid for your life? Right? Somebody say, okay, how much will I pay you for your life? Once I just give you the money, I kill you. How much will you ask for?
Nothing.
There's no amount, right? There's no amount, because your life is at stake. But in the humanitarian field, it's not about you measuring your life against the money. It's about you measuring your life as an individual against the lives that you're going to help. And so you're looking at it to say, I am one man, I am risking my life. If I don't go, 10,000 people will die.
Exactly.
If I go, these 10,000 people have a shot at life, and I have the risk of losing mine. And then you make the decision, trade-off, right? My life for 10,000 people. Which one should go? And that's why I say, if you're coming to the humanitarian sector and you're thinking money, it will not work. Because you also tell yourself, these 10,000 people are people that I don't know from Adam. I'm not related to them. But for the sake of humanity, you choose to say, hey, let's risk it. If we succeed, it's another beautiful day for 10,000 people. If we don't succeed, we hope that another set of people will take the daring step that we did. And so when you're thinking of humanitarian, the last thing that should come to your mind is the money, because you'll be exposed to a lot of risks that money cannot pay for. And so the money is just supposed to help you to feel better, or maybe make your people feel better, right, about the risk you're taking. But at the end of the day, the decision is a tough one. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Said, for that one. Yeah, and I'll agree with you on this, that yes, like it's just people like signing their own death warrant by themselves. You see people working in Goza, and all those deep northeast LGAs. That just they are just doing it for the passion of and on for humanity, not basically because of the money and all. We have taken a lot of time, discussing. We're supposed to round up by 12, but because the conversation has been interesting so far, I think that's why we are already 8 minutes past. Just quickly, one question before I let the audience on board, and just give them like roughly 5 minutes to ask questions, and you address them, and then we round up for today. Just in your experience, like what, you know that one thing you see, happens over time and eating that, just one thing.
Sorry, Hawaii, you broke off at a point, so I didn't get the question. Just repeat yourself.
I said, what is that one mistake that keeps appearing in our implementation in the humanitarian and developmental sector? Even if it has been addressed, but you just, it finds its way back, and it's being repeated either by the same organization or other organization. You understand? What is that one thing? Just quickly, in 1 minute, please.
If there's one thing that has been repeated, I think is the competition in the humanitarian sector. For me, I strongly believe that the space should be all about complementing the efforts of one another, right? Not competition. So long as there's competition in the space, the people that we serve will continue to be at the receiving end, and will end up doing sometimes more harm than the good we set out to achieve. And so we need to take away competition and bring in complementarity. Let my work support yours. At the end of the day, we are out for the same thing, right? Ensure there is complementarity instead of competition. And to achieve that, there should be adequate and proper communication, inter and intra-organization, between organization A and B, proper communication. Within your organization, proper communication. Let the people you are working with know what you're out there to do. Let them understand the dynamics of the things you're doing. Let the people you're serving also understand these dynamics. And then I am sure that we'll have a better working field and a bigger humanitarian space. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Seth Manu. It's actually a pleasure having you. I've always told you that it's a pleasure for me, like listening to you, you know, with your wealth of experience. Now, I would like to give the floor to our audience to ask questions for Seth. To set in like roughly 5 minutes before we wrap up. Do we have questions? You can raise your hand, and if I can see your hands up, you can just unmute your mic and ask a question directing to Seth.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon.
Okay, thank you. Go on.
Good afternoon. My name is Adedotun Olawumi. I'm based in Kaduna. I want to appreciate Mr. Seth for all his experience, what the humanitarian sector is into. I believe humanitarian sector is a thing that you do from your heart. Now, the question I want to ask concerning some change in project. I just feel that the first is just to analyze, to do a change impact analysis. Just the way you told us that we have the impact can be positive or negative. And to go to your donor, I think after doing the change impact analysis and you've gotten your result, I think what about going to the donor to present the impact analysis to them to see if it's worth doing. And secondly, I want to appreciate you for advising the youth, because if you look at the main thing about humanitarian sector, people thought you have money, you swim in dollars. And I want to appreciate you for advising the youth that humanitarian
Hello, Jay. Are you still there? I can't hear you.
sector is not meant to make money. It's your life. Thank you for more great to help us, sir. Sir?
Okay. Thank you, Dedotun. And yes, I agree with you. And just like you said, in an ideal situation, once you have a change impact analysis and you go back to your donor and say, hey, this is what has changed. The needs of the people have changed. This is how we should go about it. Ideally, it should suffice, right? But then what should happen in an ideal situation and what is happening in the humanitarian field are two different things. And one thing we keep pushing in the humanitarian field is for flexibility from donor funds. And there are donors that have started buying into that level of flexibility. For example, we have certain donors right now that in their projects, once you design it, they allocate money for crisis modifiers. That is to say that in the middle of the project, if anything comes up, anything changes, you actually have a dedicated fund that you are able to invest into that. But not all partners do that, right? Not all donors do that. There are still some donors that are very, very rigid. If they tell you that this money is meant to buy paracetamol for 10 people, you will not be able to convince them otherwise. Sometimes they tell you it is because where they also pull that money from is that money has been allocated strictly for paracetamol for 10 people. So you cannot change it. And so that inflexibility is there. It's part of the challenges. Ideally, it shouldn't be, but then it is there. But then how to engage and see how to navigate around it, where you cannot change it, communicate and engage with the people that you serve. Thank you for your points as well noted. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank
Let
you.
me. Okay, my name is Fred Idehai. I listened to what said carefully. Honestly, I'm seriously enriched by what I heard. In fact, I was relating to that issue of insurgency and what's not. I was just trying to relate because I've been in such situations too. Being a journalist that is always on the field, that we go to theater of operation, I've also experienced such situations. So I was just trying to relate on how humanitarian, the major thing there is you placing your life there for others to benefit instead of you thinking about self. Honestly, it's so enriching. And I also, to an extent, been enriched on how you went about tying it back to project management and every stuff. Honestly, it is fantastic. I really appreciate you and the organizer of this program. I wish that this is what we do regularly because despite I've been on the field for a while, there are lots of new things I've learned. And I'm also a registered, a licensed project manager. So I'm well enriched with whatever has come out of this platform. In fact, I have not regretted joining this platform this morning. With this now makes me to regret the last one that I said I was going to join, then I missed. Honestly, I really appreciate it. Said well done, and the organizers, kudos to you all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your kind words. Do we have more questions, or should I hand over to Dr. Lucas for a close? I apologize to that. It's my village people. So, uh, please, do we have Dr. Lucas?
Hello, good afternoon.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes, good
Do you
afternoon.
have a set?
Thank you. I'm Dr. Israel Olabode from Ulu Seguaga University of Science and Technology. Thank you very much for this seminar this morning. And in fact, it's really enriching. And the work of humanitarian, in fact, this has really demonstrated what we always also teach our students in the four corners of the classroom, that project management is not only the construction, not only the building, but cut across everything. And in fact, I'm very sure and I'm very happy that my students are so happy today, even to know that being engaged in humanitarian work is also a project. That the speaker that really highlighted thus far has really made everyone to know more that the perspective of people, that when making money there, and that it has never been like that. And so we really appreciate the speaker. Thank you very much for the
Thank you so much, sir. I think the network is not letting him finish, speaking. So thank you so much with that. We are already 19 minutes, outside the initial allocated time. Thank you so much, Said, for having you here with us. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us. I would now like to quickly hand over to Dr. Lucas to give us a quick closing remark, and then we can call it a day. But before I hand over to him, thank you so much, Said. Really, really, thank you so much for being here. Over to you, Dr. Lucas.
Oh, thank you, Awa. Thank you, Mr. Samuel Seats. I sincerely appreciate you. For real, I didn't expect this kind of engagement, and it kind of everything you touched. It was so explicit, and we could grab every single thing easily. And we believe that this will really help others, not just the students, not just the people that are coming, the young leaders, I believe every one of us that we have engaged in one or two projects, and we are also, engaging in another, in a project, either little, either small or massive or mega projects. We know that we all need all the things that you've just said. I was listening to the part that you said something about communication. Sincerely speaking, even in office arrangements or organization, there are some things that we need to tie to good, and effective communication. Even the project management institutes, they actually said something about that project 56% of project failures, stems from poor communication plan. So it's a very, it's something that we need to look into, because the communication part of it, it has a lot of impact in any projects we are delivering. Imagine a whole 56% of project failures, is tied to that. So, and you talking about, the trade-off, the impact of the projects you've engaged in, it's something that I can't even, I can just say less of it, because these are the things that we need in every space, not just project management space, even business management, any space that we find ourselves executing or delivering projects. So we want to appreciate you on behalf of the founders and the team of Faces of Projects. I am saying a very big thank you to you. And Awa, thank you so much for this well coordinated session. And this will promise you, like we said in the last webinar, we'll always have this kind of section. We have also, our part of documentation. We have our part of podcast. We have our part of webinar, and this is one of the things, or one of the parts that we are giving out to the public. So you expect more from us, from the team, Faces of Projects by Motu. We want to say a big thank you to you. We want to say, you guys should please also follow our handles, follow us on, Instagram, Facebook, X, YouTube. And for any of us that actually missed this section, and for any schools that you just feel like, okay, fine, you like this section, you can always find the recorded version on our YouTube page. We'll definitely we'll upload this very session on our YouTube page. So, and you can find it there. You can always reach out to our speaker, our guest speaker. If you reach out to us, to the team of Faces of Projects, and you need one or two questions to ask our guest speaker, we'll definitely find a way to link you guys together. That is what this platform is all about. We want to network, we want to connect, and we want to make sure that we build, a nation that, okay, people will always come back to us and say, yes, we did it. So thank you so much. And I would like to also give the mic to my co-founder Dr. Bash. Maybe he definitely have one or two things to say. So I appreciate you. Thank you once again. I cannot appreciate you enough, Mr. Samuel Sates. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for joining this session. Mr. Saint Samuel, you've done justice to the humanitarian and developmental sector. We've really learned from the practical aspects of this sector. In short, when you were talking, you were actually using all the terms in project management fundamentals. And for anybody that is a student of project management, I think this basically is what you should, be keen into, to see how practicable project leaders come on Faces of Project to deliver real life experiences on how projects are being done, the challenges that occurs, the sustainable plan for those projects. So we've touched on a lot. Communication management, it spoke about change management, it spoke about risk management, it also spoke about quality that ties both the scope, the resources that we have, and the time that is allocated on projects. So all these are basically what we learn in our textbooks. But what we have now is having practicability come into shove and telling us about experiences that happens in various sectors. So I can't thank you enough from the team of Faces of Projects, and on behalf of the community members, I really want to tell you We are very grateful for you sharing your experience with us, and we'll look forward to also engage in the future with you. Thank you so much, Mr. Seth. Over to you.
Thank you so much, everyone, for your contributions. We really appreciate. Please, if we can have our videos turned on for a group picture. And also, this is to let Seth know that we are adding him to the pool of our mentors in case someone from our community would want to talk to you some more. Please let us have that leverage, because you are now part of the Faces of Project community, and also being also one of the mentors we would have in our pool. Thank you so much for everyone for sticking from the beginning till the end. We really highly appreciate that. Until we see you in the next 2 weeks, please make a date with us. Thank you so much from our guests and also the founders, our guest speaker, and also IT. That's IB and Tolu. Thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate you all. Thank you. Let's have our video on for the group pictures. Thank you. And over from my end. The
IT.
approval of us adding you to the of our mentors. Hello, Seth.
Yes, how are you saying?
I can't hear you though.
How are yes, can you hear
I
me
can't.
now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, what did you say? Hello, Hawa?
I said approval for you to add you.
Yeah, no,
Yes, can you hear me?
that is very fine. That is very fine. It will be a privilege to be part of this. It's very okay. Hawa. Issues.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. So I think our left, the network is bad. So I think IB, please, when you're ready, please take a group picture. Let's take a group picture, and so we round it up for today. Ibrahim, please just close the meeting after the picture. And once again, we want to appreciate you all for attending today's seminar. And we want to say a very big thank you to our guest speaker once again. And we'd like to have you once again on our platform. Sections like this, we'll always have it regularly. So we'll definitely, invite you. So expect from us. And you get a lot of reach outs. They want to talk to you and all of that. So expect from us very soon. Thank you. Thank you once again. So Ibrahim, over to you. Please, let's take our group picture and call it a day.
I've done that, sir.
Okay, so again, we can also endeavor to chat on the WhatsApp community on how engaging this particular session was, because we need to encourage everyone that they are missing out on intellectual development, because what we have here is basically practicability over book knowledge. We can all see from the experiences of Mr. Seth, it gave us insight on the developmental sector. So we need to encourage ourselves and make sure that we comment. We know we Nigerians, we have to taste the pie before we can see how sweet it is. So we should endeavor to do that. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, thank you. See you next time. Thank you.